covering recruiting and the transfer portal for the Razorbacks. This is Inside Arkansas Recruiting with Dudley Dawson.
Well, welcome back to Inside Arkansas Recruiting with Dudley Dawson. Certainly was an exciting weekend. There were a couple of hit and runs in Little Rock. One was Arkansas's big win over Arkansas State. The other was my car at a hotel that got sideswiped while I wasn't in it, at least. So, but a couple of exciting things there happened this weekend. But what an interesting game it was with Arkansas and Arkansas State. Obviously, Arkansas had handled the first quarter really well. It was kind of a, Arkansas State put in a fight in the second quarter, and then, Arkansas pretty handily, won the game, obviously 56-14, which I think a lot of people thought. I thought it might be a little bit closer, but, there were a lot of good things that happened for Arkansas other than Taylon Green's two turnovers and two interceptions. The offense looked really good. We saw that running game we knew would get bigger and better. Obviously spread the ball around to receivers, and the defense, I think, did a really good job. Now we'll see what it looks like in terms of injuries and all of that as they get ready to play Ole Miss next week, which will allow us a lot of topics to talk about in our shows this week. Obviously, it seems at times that Ole Miss has used the transfer portal as a recruiting tool for itself in picking off Arkansas guys. We're going to have some experts on and some people that are around Memphis and Oxford who know a lot about how things went down in that regard. So looking forward to that. Also, we're going to have some folks and we'll let y'all know as they go along, talking about the situation where you have, it's one of the things that Arkansas has had some good times in Memphis in terms of recruiting, certainly in basketball. Sometimes it's been in football, but you haven't really been to a situation to where you want to get to. You need to mine that area just like basketball did to a certain extent. Obviously, we talked about earlier last week. The last game in Little Rock, which we're kind of assuming it would be, was this one, and it's gonna be a history we're gonna look back on in terms of recruiting. That was great for Arkansas for the longest time when it was where Arkansas played certainly 3 or 4 games a year. That was beneficial not only to the fans but to the recruits to get there and get a chance to see the Razorbacks up close and personal and all that. Obviously things have changed. You can make much more money in Fayetteville at the new stadium or the renovated stadium, I should say, with so many extra seats. You have that opportunity to, even if you didn't fill the Razorback Stadium, you're going to make far more money than you did out of Little Rock. And I know that, there were a lot of instances over the years where big-time wins were had in Little Rock, and certainly recruits got to see the opportunity to see. It's still one of those situations where you cannot have contact with recruits. You can give them recruits and when they come to a Little Rock game, but you cannot have any contact with them. And in this day and age, you just got to do that. Now you've got the Texas A&M and Arkansas game will be home and home now instead of going down to Arlington every year. You most likely, as I said, and I'm sure a lot of you think this as well, you're going to have the opportunity to have 6, 7 home games each year. Have the opportunity to bring recruits here. There are some disadvantages when you have an early game and getting kids into the airport here and all that. But we're going to see just how good a recruiting weekend they can roll out, I think, in about 3 weeks when Notre Dame comes to town. And it seems like, in talking to head coaches, not only football coaches, but just about every sport at the University of Arkansas, they're going to use that Notre Dame game and that high-profile game to really bring a lot of recruits in and see what they can do about getting it into a situation to kind of offer up the best of Arkansas, what you can see and have in the opportunity to, show off your campus in that. A couple of things that were of notice over the weekend where Arkansas offered a couple of big offensive linemen, one in high school and one in junior college. James Halter, a young man from Pittsburgh Central Catholic, 6'5", 268. Got an offer from Arkansas over the weekend. He's a young man whose dad, Jordan Halter, played at Notre Dame. That's his dream school. He's been very clear about that. But Arkansas is now in the running with schools such as Penn State, Ohio State, Auburn, Arkansas, LSU, Ole Miss. Obviously a very talented young man. Again, 6'5", 268. He played as a tight end last year, but he's playing offensive line this year. Obviously, still growing, and as you know, as we said, he's got the genes, having the dad who played for Notre Dame, and so we'll see how that goes along. He's just somebody that sounded very excited about the offer, but as we said, at the same time, when you have an offer from, if you get an offer from your dream school in Notre Dame, that's probably where he'll end up. But we'll continue to monitor that situation. The other guy that made mention of his offer from Arkansas, Jermaine Mitchell, 6'9", 300 pounds, from Copaya Lincoln Junior College. He's rated as the number 2 junior college offensive tackle, and one of the top 10 out there overall in terms of best players JUCO-wise that are non-playmakers. So somebody that would be a really good pickup. He has had shown a lot of interest in Arkansas, but he is what he calls himself a commit to Mississippi State. I always take that with a grain of salt, because if you're taking visits and you're talking to other teams, I don't know that that's a hard commit. But again, a 6'9", 300-pound guy, and we know that Arkansas wants to build with those offensive line and keep it going in the matter of getting big. And 6'9", 300 would seem to be, that would be right there in the mixture. We also want to, when we talked last week, Jody Grant from Bentonville had a great interview with him. I thought he talked about the 3 Arkansas commits that were playing in the Bentonville Conway game. I expected that to be much closer, but 56-20 win for Bentonville, and the young man that that are Arkansas recruits. Had Daquan Parvo had 6 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. Blair Irvin 6 catches, 134 yards and a touchdown. And Bentonville was able to roll in that football game. Tay Lockett, I'm told, played really well as well, the defensive back, who transferred in from California to Conway and had committed to Arkansas in 2003. So that's an interesting, early season showdown, and Bentonville certainly won that. 3 out of the last 5. They had split the last 4 games coming in, but that was one of the highlight games of the week. And also Fayetteville. And we mentioned last week that they have 4 players that either have offers from Arkansas or committed to Arkansas. They used a 2-point conversion in overtime to pull off a big win over Broken Arrow, 18-17. They've got this week is their bye week. Looking forward to talking to Casey Dick, Fayetteville's head coach, the old Arkansas quarterback, who was in the mix when Bobby Petrino was the head coach. Mitch Mustang was his backup. Robert Johnson was also in that mix. And he's gone on, his team at Fayetteville has done really well, and certainly we'll be talking to him in the upcoming weeks, probably in a couple weeks, when they get ready to play Texas High, which I'm sure is interesting for him. He's an former Allen standout there from Texas. Him and his brother Nathan obviously played up here before Nathan transferred away. So we look forward to talking to him, talking about the recruits that Arkansas is looking at on his team now, how his how it was during that whole Mitch Mustang thing, and that's what we'll call it, the Mitch Mustang thing. It certainly was interesting. He also was reading in some research today. He was, his last year as a quarterback, Ryan Mallett, the late great Ryan Mallett, was on campus that year, but that was before he could transfer all over the place and not have to sit out. He had to sit out a year after transferring in from Michigan. So I'm looking forward to that in a couple of weeks, as we said. Also, as I mentioned earlier, looking forward to talking to some Ole Miss people, talking to some Arkansas people this week about the dynamic that goes on right now with portal transfers, with high school recruiting, and in different situations that, they seem to be in the mix together a lot, whether it be Chris Paul transferring. There were several kids that did that this year. Luke Haas being one, I think it was up to 4. And so we'll look at those dynamics as the week goes along. To certainly thank our sponsor again, GoatLab Brewery in Lowell, GoatLab Red in Fayetteville. I know they had a big time this weekend with their watch parties with Arkansas and Arkansas State being streamed on TV. Certainly, they're excited about what they've got going at the Fayetteville spot. And it's, over by Oak Plaza on North Garland, just right down from the university, is his spot in the situation there now. You've got one of those things that craft beer is kind of what GoatLab's known for. They have that in Lowell at their spot they had for several years. They've got some great menu at the new Fayetteville store, and it's something that I'm looking forward to as it goes along. Certainly, his Sunday morning deal. Bill Adams, the owner, his Sunday morning deal: two GoatLab brews with all the pancakes you can eat, or two mimosas. Sounds like a pretty good idea there to me. And I know they've had some big crowds already. Sure, they'll have one this Saturday night when Arkansas takes on Ole Miss. If you hadn't heard, the game will be at 6 p.m. Down in Oxford. So looking forward to kind of seeing that. And those of you who hadn't been, go try their Tusk Light and Razorback beers. Been really good for them. Also, Bill's the owner of the Grove Comedy Club, so he's got kind of a nice little empire going here in terms of breweries and comedy. And so, look forward to them continuing to be a partner with us in this situation. And really excited about what they have and what we're going to be able to do with this recruiting show. As I get more comfortable in new media, got to teach the old dogs some new tricks. As I was saying earlier in the show, really want to take this show and do some different things. Certainly, when we want to talk about different players and talk to different coaches and players about their situations, why it is they're coming to Arkansas, maybe why you're not coming to Arkansas. What is the decision going to depend on? One thing I'm going to try to do is make sure I don't pull any punches. I look over the recruiting rankings these days, and I see that Arkansas has 4 of the top 15 committed to them in the state. That just cannot happen. I mean, regardless of whether you have a great out-of-state recruiting class, you're going to have to mine some of these top players in-state. And to allow Missouri, Oklahoma, Miami, and some other states to come in, SMU, Rhett Lastly has one young man the top 15. You can't. You got to continue to recruit those kids. You can't really look back on it and except you got to obviously study and learn from it. But I do think that there's one possible bright spot left in this recruiting class. T.J. Hodges is a young man who was outstanding in Mark III the last couple of years. He's moved to Bryant this season. He's one of 4 different Bryant players that have elite offers. He made it known this week that he's going to make his decision on October 4th between 6 schools. Arkansas and Missouri are thought to be the leaders, but there are several others in there that he's going to take a look at. As I said, he's going to make that decision on October 4th, the night after his team's homecoming game. And when you look at him, this is a really good player. This is not just a little piece of the puzzle. He is, according to On3 and Rivals and 24/7 and all the services that do their best to rank these players, he's a young man who is the top running back left in the country in terms of being uncommitted. There's so many of those that go ahead and commit early. He has kind of taken his time, and there have been some things that have kind of pushed that decision to October 4th. That would be a really big pickup for Arkansas. Obviously, they've got some good running backs right now, but we know you've got to continue keeping adding to that. He's a young man that, certainly would be a really big pickup for Arkansas, and especially again when you're in a situation between when you only have 4 of the top 15 committed right now to you in state. And that's one of the things, again, about the show. Going to try to have on the rest of this week some people from the Ole Miss side of things, some people from the Arkansas side of things, some names you'll know when we get them lined up for sure. Arkansas oftentimes has been viewed a little bit, especially since the transfer portal came along, as a waypoint or a stopping point for kids that end up to go into Arkansas. I believe it's in the 6 to 8 range right now that have transferred from Arkansas to Ole Miss using the transfer portal. I'm interested to talk to some people about their thoughts on how that has happened. We know that Ole Miss came out early with really good NIL program. Paid a lot of money to get a lot of really good players, and that's worked out really well. Lane Kiffin, he coached at Ole Miss, flirted with Arkansas at one point. That didn't work out. Sam Pittman ended up getting the job. And we know when Coach Pittman came along that they were still battling, trying to get the NIL and different things up to running here at Arkansas with the Arkansas Edge. They continue to try to do that, but sometimes it's like you're running in quicksand and trying to get it going. I do think they've got good people over there now, and they're trying to get into a position to, especially with the new rev share that's coming from the NCAA, have the opportunity to get in on some more of these players. And maybe now that the general manager, Remy Cofield, is on board, I'm hearing a lot about from different schools and different administrations how that has really helped streamline a lot of things. So we're going to talk to some people about that this week. Look forward to, yes, talking to coaches, talking to Arkansas recruits, talking to kids that are looking at coming to Arkansas, talking to them again about why you did come to Arkansas. Maybe I want to make this kind of an all-encompassing show. We hope that you'll continue to hit. We have a lot of content here at inside Arkansas. I hear people back in the day say always hit like and subscribe and all those things. Well, I'm now saying that in terms of this recruiting show, and also all the other great content we have here at Inside Arkansas. Again, we want to thank Bill Adams and GoatLab Brewery in Lowell, the new GoatLab Red in Fayetteville. Swing by there for lunch if you get a chance. Great craft beer at the one in Lowell. Great pizza. Obviously, a much larger menu there in the Fayetteville side at Oak Plaza, just down from the university. He's done a really good job at creating a great atmosphere. They had a lot of people there to watch the game last Saturday. I know they'll have a lot to watch at both locations on when Arkansas plays Ole Miss at 6:00 on Saturday. And again, want to mention, it's kind of a unique offer he has going in on Sunday morning brunch. All the pancakes that you can eat and 2 GoatLab brews or 2 mimosas. That's kind of a way to get your Sunday going, I guess. But Bill is a great businessman here in Northwest Arkansas. Again, has the Grove Comedy Club as well. We thank him for his support. And we look forward to talking to y'all again later this week, and let's try to figure out this recruiting.